Morning, everybody. Morning, nobody. Morning, all you crazy cats and kittens out there. Sunday, early May. We had May 1st, such as it was, International Workers' Day, and International Morris Dancing Holiday, such as it was. Hope everyone's doing okay. It says I'm live on the YouTube, but we don't know about that, do we? So welcome to another edition of Sunday Morning, such as it is. I got a few gospel-y songs for you here. And first one I'd like to try is from the old Standby, Rise Up Singing. Got any gospel songs? I'll take them all. Old Time Religion. Give me that old time religion, give me that old time religion, give me that old time religion, and it's good enough for me. It was good for the Hebrew children, it was good for the Hebrew children, it was good for the Hebrew children, man, that's good enough for me. Give me that old time religion, give me that old time religion, give me that old time religion, man, it's good enough for me. It was good for Paul and Silas, it was good for Paul and Silas, it was good for Paul and Silas, man, that's good enough for me. Give me that old time religion, give me that old time religion, give me that old time religion, good enough for me. Give me that old time religion, give me that old time religion, give me that old time religion, man, it's good enough for me. It's amazing how lost you can get with only 3 chords. All right, on the same, no, on the opposite page is Swing Low Sweet Chariot. Carlos, how you doing? I get to, on my phone, I get to wave at you because you're watching on the Facebook, and I'm doing the phone for the Facebook, and for the YouTube I'm doing the camcorder. And yeah, all right, let me see if I can read all these words. My 54-year-old eyes here. I think it may be time for up close glasses. Okay. Swing low, sweet chariot, a coming for to carry me home. Oh, swing low, a sweet chariot, a coming for to carry me home. I looked over Jordan, man, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. There were angels bandaged to coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Well, I'm sometimes up and I'm sometimes down, coming for to carry me home. Well, what happens next? But I still know I'm heavenly bound, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. If I get there, if you get there, no, if you get there before I do, a coming for to carry me home. Tell all my friends that I'm coming too, coming for to carry me home. I swing low, sweet chariot, a coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, a coming for to carry me home. And if I get there before you do, a coming for to carry me home, well, I will cut a hole, I'm gonna pull you through, a coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, a coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, a coming for to carry me home. Coming for to carry me home. Coming for to carry me home. Yeah, what happens next? I know, exactly, right? I knew I should have printed this out in bigger font. I never really knew these other verses, or if I knew them, I forgot them. But I love this one. If I get there before you do, I'll cut a hole and I'll pull you through. I just have this image of someone up in heaven, sawing through a big cloud. Come on, I won't tell nobody. Come on, all our friends are here. Let's go. Old Time Religion and Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Yeah, we did those. All right, we got some more gospel-y songs on the way. I wanted to do this one on guitar. I'll put you over there, rise up singing. If you want to get to heaven, over on that other shore, stay out of the way of the blood-stained bandit. Oh, good shepherd, won't you feed my sheep? One for Paul and one for Silas, one for to make my heart rejoice. Can't you hear my lambs calling? Good shepherd, won't you feed my sheep? If you want to get to heaven, over on that other shore, stay out of the way of the long-tongued lion. Oh, good shepherd, won't you feed my sheep? One for Paul and one for Silas, one to make my heart rejoice. Can't you hear my Stay out of the way of the gunshot devil. Oh, good shepherd, won't you feed my sheep? One for Paul and one for Silas, one for to make my heart rejoice. Can't you hear? Can't you hear? My lambs are calling. Oh, good shepherd, won't you feed my sheep? All right. That was on one of my favorite Jefferson Airplane albums called Volunteers. Volunteers of America. A bunch of great songs on that album. Boy, let me tell you what. I think I want to say that's the album that has, I'm just looking for it here to see if I can find it. It has this totally revolutionary song. You have the you have the age, we have the numbers, up against the wall, motherfuckers. You know, it's just. Let me see if I can find it right here, because I'm just curious. I should play that again. Here we go. J. If it's anywhere, be under J, I think, not airplane. It's not under Billy Joel or Jethro Tull. It's not under Jet. Here we go, Jefferson Airplane. You know, now I can't be satisfied, people. This is why, you know, you have production assistants for this kind of stuff. So you can find the Jefferson Airplane album. John Martin. Oh, there's another good one. I'm going to play some of these. Tell me I lost my Volunteers album. I'd be very disappointed if that's the case. It does not seem to be here. I'm not giving up yet until I go through it all. It's not the Muppet movie. And it's not Van Morrison. Papa John Creech, he was in Hot Tuna. So he's got that going for him. No, it does not seem to be here. Oh, no, I thought this was it because it had the flag, but it's Earth Crisis by Steel Pulse. Man, I gotta play some of these old albums. No, it's gone. Lost my copy of Volunteers by Jefferson Airplane. Well, we'll put it, since it's Sunday morning here, I'll put a prayer in that the vinyl of Jefferson Airplane comes back to me so that I can find it. So that song reminded me of a couple things, but one is I spent a couple, great summers working for the Appalachian Mountain Club up in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. And the first summer I spent up there, I was on the shelters taking care of a backcountry shelter at 13 Falls, which is in the Pemigewasset Wilderness. And every once in a while, especially on the weekends when more people were up there, sometimes I'd pull out my guitar and we'd sit around the fire and play some songs. I played that song. This nice man who was there with his wife was like, "Oh, that's the name of our church. I'm a preacher." And hey, Anna. Hey, Melissa and Jim. All these people watching through my phone. And he goes, that's the name of our church, the Good Shepherd Church. And I was like, oh, well, that's a song I learned from this hippie band Jefferson Airplane when they're Jorma Kaukonen was probably dropping acid. But there you go, man. The sentiment behind them both was fine. One of my memories of being up there, I have a couple memories that just popped up of being up there. One was I went up there, 1990, I think I was at 13 Falls. And, I went up there as a deadhead hippie. I was going to be like, I'm just going to live here. And if the mice, come around, I have all my food in a rat-proof, little screen container. I'm just visiting, their home. And the first night, as soon as I put my headlamp off and tried to fall asleep, I heard, scratching at the rat proof. I turned on the light and they scurried away, and I came back scratching and I turned on the light, they scurried away. Didn't get much sleep all night. They were, scratching at this thing. And so I woke up after a bad night's sleep and I was like, that's it. They're all gotta die, right? My hippie Buddhism went right out the window there, man. May all beings be happy, but not you fucking mice that kept me awake. And so I got some traps. I think I had some traps there. And, I killed a few of them, but it was just so nasty. I was just like, oh, I can't do this. You'd wake up in the morning and, either it wouldn't be completely dead, or one of them, it was like his eye was sticking out. I was like, oh, this is so gruesome, man. What the hell? And so my friend Marcus, who had this great job of filling in for caretakers on the sort of upper ridge over the Pemigewasset at some backcountry sites. He'd spend 3 days at one site while we were in there for 11 days, and then had 3 days off, and then he'd go to the next one. And we were good friends, Marcus Casali and me. And he was like, Jonathan, I came up with this idea for the mice while I was hiking. He was like, what you got to do is you got to get a bucket and you put some dental floss across it, put a little peanut butter, in the middle, give them a way to get up there, and then the mice will go out on this dental floss, but they won't be able to keep their balance. They'll fall in the bucket. You put a couple inches of water in the bottom, they'll drown. I was like, that's never gonna work. No way. What have you been smoking, and how do I get some? But I was like, all right, I'll try it. It's got to be better than these traps, or spending the night, with earplugs in, trying not to hear them. So the first night, I set up a sheetrock bucket with some dental floss across it, a little bit of peanut butter in the middle. He was like, you could put a duct tape platform on it to hold the peanut butter, and then they'd get out there. And I was like, all right, I made a little platform, peanut butter, turned off my headlamp. Within a minute, I heard splash. I was like, no way. And I got up and I looked, and there was a little mouse doing laps. I felt bad for it, but not that bad. And it drowned. I was like, well, I'm gonna watch this one, pass away, because this is what I've done. I'm gonna take ownership of this or whatever. And I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that worked. And I went back to bed, turned off the headlamp. Pretty much right away, heard another splash, and I was like, I flipped over, had a really good night's sleep. I woke up in the morning, and I swear to fucking God, there were 13 mice in this thing. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, this is like the killing fields or something. I had to dig a mass grave for these little guys, And the next night, I caught like 4 or 5, and then maybe 2 or 1, and I pretty much had no more problems with mice. I couldn't believe it. I would think that, once the first one fell in, they'd be like, go back, it's a trap, go back. Or they'd go up to the edge and be like, isn't that Uncle Frank down there? Oh well, peanut butter over here. 13 freaking mice. I couldn't believe it. And what even blew my mind more was one night I saw a shrew, which are these amazing little mammals. I think even some shrews have venom. I think they're one of the only mammals that has some sort of venom. And they have this crazy metabolism of like where they have to eat like every 3 hours. You know, they just take a little nap and they get up and they kill something. You know, and I saw this shrew walk out on the dental floss, eat all the peanut butter, and walk across and head off. I was like, there you go, buddy. That was just for you. You know, I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. So there's one story from my times that Jefferson Airplane song reminded me of. Okay, well, there's the sermon for today, I guess. I want to play this song that I played last night, but with the words, because I thought, well, it's kind of gospel-y. Sort of, well, not really, but I might as well sing it, because I didn't sing the words last night, The Sound of Silence. And this one, I'm really going to be testing these 54-year-old eyes here. Should have printed this one out, too. My old friend, I've come to talk to you again because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone in narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar from the cold and damp, and my eyes were blinded by the flash of a neon light. It split the night and touched the sound of silence. In the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Who said you do not know? Silence like a cancer will grow take my arms that I could teach you. Words fell like silent raindrops fell in the room. They echoed in the well of silence. Well, the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they had made, and the sign flashed out its warning, and the words that it was forming, and the sign said the words of the prophets written on subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sounds of silence. Yeah, another gospel-y songs. That's pretty much all I got for the gospel-y song. That was kind of stretching it to the Simon and Garfunkel, but I like that song. So why don't I pick one of these books? I don't have anything planned about what to talk about. Man's Eternal Quest, Days of Healing, Days of Joy. Oh, maybe something from the Dhammapada. That's always good. You know what else I could play again? Dhammapada. Forget Dhammapada. What about the words of Bobby Dylan? Oh, where I put my copy of the Dhammapada. Seems to have gone missing. It probably went with that Jefferson Airplane album. Volunteers as well. Let's see what Bobby Dylan has to say. Frankie went to the scaffold, calm as a girl could be, turned her eyes towards the heavens, said, "Nearer, my God, to thee." He was her man, but he done her wrong. Frankie and Albert. I don't really know that song. It does make me think of Tears of Rage. That line, she said, "Near my God to thee, he was her man, but he done her wrong." You know, I think of all the people in the midst of this pandemic that are trapped inside with their abusive partners, men, women, kids, that are in this time when I may be struggling with my problems. We all struggle with our own problems. But my heart just goes out to these people who are trapped in these awful situations that they just can't get out of. You know, if anything, that noose of control will tighten when something like this happens. And you know, when I think about something like that makes me so sad and angry, you know, and wishing I could do something about it, but feeling helpless. You know, busy with my own life and my own responsibilities and taking care of some and dodging some and just doing the best I can like everyone else. You know, I try to draw from that that well of silence, like Simon and Garfunkel were talking about, you know. That place, which is, for me, beyond this particular situation, beyond this particular incarnation, that goes back through many lifetimes, turning your eyes up towards heaven and saying, "Near, my God, to Thee." I feel when I can touch that silent part of me and just sit with the entirety of life, with all of its incredible pain and suffering, all of its joy, all of its hope, all of its laughter, all of it. Not trying to desperately hold on to one part that feels good, not trying to, desperately push away something that doesn't feel good, just accepting the entirety. That's when I feel I'm drawing nearer to that wellspring of heaven. And I can only, yesterday I was working, clearing out this guest room for Pop Pop and JoJo, who are coming up, and clearing out the shitty toilet that was filled with stuff, and trying to make it so that they can spend the night here and we can be as safe as possible through that time. And then I went outside. Hey, Tia Susie, how you doing? I get to wave to you, my auntie. No, I was sitting down here and I was trying to figure out this connection. I never feel like I have enough time during the week, or I haven't given it enough time to like really dial down into like, why is the video and the audio on YouTube not exactly syncing up? Why am I getting an echo? Why is this not streaming right now? Why is this streaming? And doing my best trying to get out a notice about this concert, more than a half an hour before. And, I'd had quite a bit of caffeine because I had some yerba mate as well as my earlier coffee. And then Rosie came in and was like, "Hey, do you want to play?" And I was like, "Yes, this is just driving me crazy." And I went outside and played with her for a little while. The upshot of it, I'm trying to get to this to tell you the rest of the story, is at the end of that, I was feeling really sort of down, physically a little bit tired, so I wanted to go up and sort of rest my eyes for a little bit before I tried to do this streaming thing last night. And I ended up feeling that sadness again of the little kid within me who got traumatized. I ended up feeling that anxiety of the teenager worrying that he can't protect that little kid, or worrying that he's just out of his element, can't do it. And I didn't end up meditating, but I do know that when I sort of touch that part of me that just feels like, oh, this is too much. I can't go on. Right now this is all just seems overwhelming and heavy. If I am able to get back to that place of silence within me, that's when I start to get back into my body, get back into this moment, and work towards just being okay. I'm feeling sad right now. That's it. I'm feeling frustrated right now. I am feeling hopeless right now. Whatever it happens to be. And it is what it is. There was a quote I read this last week about worrying, and it was like sort of something along the lines of, when you're worrying about the future, about something that might happen, about some possible outcome, you're just increasing your suffering. What you should be doing is focusing on the suffering right in this moment. So that means, to me, I think that's a very wise quote, not just, don't think about that. There's nothing you can do about worrying about what's going to happen with X, Y, or Z tomorrow or the next day. And just distract yourself or whatever. It's like, no, focus on your suffering in this moment. Focus on that broken heart. Focus on that feeling of hopelessness. Sit with it. Accept it. Just don't be scared of it, right? Is what it comes back to me, and that to me, that's my key. When I think of, in this, from the Bible of Bob Dylan here, in the definitive Bob Dylan songbook, that line of, someone being no good for you and someone abusing you, and I think of all the people out there who've been abused, and when I think about my own trauma, being sexually abused as a child and growing up in an alcoholic family, when I think of that those situations of trauma, what gets me towards those gates of heaven, what gives me towards that place of acceptance and of entering into that kingdom of heaven, getting nearer to God, is sitting with that wounded part of myself, not pushing it away, not rejecting it. All it wants is to be, is to connect and to be loved. When my kids, especially when they're younger, and you just want to make the pain go away when something's happening, when something didn't go their way, or when they skinned their knee, or whatever it is, and really all they want is just to be held and just to be comforted, and so that's what I encourage all of you out there to do, is to just sit with that part of you and don't push it away, and don't think about what might happen with that wounded part of yourself tomorrow or whatever, but be with the suffering right now. That to me is what opens up those gates of heaven. This made me think of one of these songs I sang from Bob Dylan that I thought maybe I would just pull out again. Apple Sucking Tree. Did you really write that, Bob Dylan? It sounds like something that was written before you did it, and you just put your name on it, like when you were a young punk, and got money for it. What is it? It's not Tears of Rage. I can't even think of the song right now. Bottle of Bread. That's where there was this restaurant in Shelburne Falls called the Bottle of Bread, which Sarah and I went to on our first blind date, my first and my last blind date. Like a lot of these things, you sort of gets romanticized, but it was a great date. She came up in a Subaru. I was building a house in Coleraine, and her car was smoking, and I was like, are you okay? She didn't know I had a beard. She was not into beards, and she was like, okay. I showed her the house. I said, would you like to take a walk? We took a little walk in Coleraine up into the woods, and got back and had a cup of tea, and then I was like, you know what, do you want to go get some dinner? We went down to the Bottle of Bread, and had a really nice dinner and started connecting a bit more and talking. And while I was there, I saw a friend who had some tickets to the Pothole Pictures in Shelburne Falls. This great movie place in Shelburne Falls where they show these old movies, and in the town hall. And he was like, "I can't go. Do you guys want these tickets?" I was like, "What do you think?" "Sure." She was like, "Yeah, let me call the person I was gonna, meet after this, and we'll go." We went and had another cup of tea at the co-op and walked across the Bridge of Flowers and went over to the town hall and saw Truly Madly Deeply, which was a very sort of romantic comedy. And in the middle of it, a bat got out, I remember, and started flying around inside the town hall, yeah, that's where it all started. And it sort of went from there. But it was such a great blind date. It just made me think of that story of like, oh, okay, let's see what happens. You ain't going nowhere. Oh, that's a good one too. Baby, you're a big girl now. What song am I thinking of? It's I sang it before. I just can't bring it up. It's like the classic gospel-y song by Bob Dylan. It's not When I Paint My Masterpiece. It's oh well, I can't think of it right now. It's not Man of Peace. And it's not Apple Suckling Tree. The band played it as well. It's I Shall Be Released. Of course, I Shall Be Released. Page 280 in the Bible here. I shall be released. There it is. Let's see if I can remember this bad boy. I remember it being pretty easy chord-wise. What could possibly go wrong? Replaced. Every distance is not near, so I remember every face of every man who put me here. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Any day now crowd. Man who says he's not to blame. All day long I hear him shouting out loud, crying how he was framed. I see my light come shining from the west down to the east. Well, any day now, any day now, I shall be released. Oh, any day now, oh, any day now, I shall be released. It was that one, my friends. Yeah. All right, there's some words from the Gospel of Bobby Dylan to take with you on your Sunday, wherever your Sunday takes you. I hope that it takes you to a place of acceptance. That's what I'm hoping. That's my hope for myself today, with what I want to do and what I would find myself doing, and what I don't particularly want to do, and all those parts. Tropical Lamb. Do I do Cat Stevens? Oh, you know what? Would be a good song. Is Peace Train. I love that song, but I don't know it. On next Sunday, I'm gonna make a note to learn that one. Jump on aboard the Peace Train, people. Peace Train coming. Cat Stevens. I should listen to some more Cat Stevens. He's an inspiration. The story of how he got swept out in a riptide in California. I think it was California. Now, doesn't really matter. And prayed and said, God, if you save me from this, I will devote my life to you. And changed his name to Yusef. Became an imam in the Muslim religion. I think a few years ago he released more of a secular album. Yes, Morning Has Broken. Yeah, I did that one on Easter. That one I might be able to pull out of my somewhere. Although I remember I sort of struggled with that one. Like the first morning. That one I know where it is. Actually, Peace Train's probably in here too. Rise Up Singing. Morning Has Broken. 154. I don't know if I can pull this one out. Broken like the first morning. Songbird has spoken. I gotta put this over silent. I'm never gonna be able to see these words. Forget about it. Oh yeah, it's Blackbird. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the springing, fresh from the word. Sweet the rain's new fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first day, on the first grass. Praise for the praise for the sweetness of the wet garden, sprung in completeness where his feet pass. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the first light Eden saw play. Praise for the sweetness, praise for the every morning God's recreation of the new day. More or less, emphasis on the less, but there you have it. I do appreciate any requests that come through. So I hope that you all take that time to touch your own well of silence today and keep going through these tough times, and have that gratitude that springs from true acceptance of all of this world. We all have so much that we can give to those suffering, and we all suffer. That's just the truth. That's what the Buddha came. That's the first noble truth. But the second noble truth is that there's a release from suffering. And so I hope you all take more steps on that path and take care of yourself. Okay, bye.